All right, another episode of the Nerdy Version podcast. My name is Joshua Snyder, and what I've been doing is talking about episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation in an attempt to find an audience. Because I gotta come up with something, right? I gotta figure out something. And the problem is I'm probably not doing this right, because I'm going to start out the podcast by talking purely about my own depression. And then I will slowly but surely work my way into the episode from the first season of Star Trek The Next Generation entitled Where No One Has Gone Before. And if you're really interested in Where No One Has Gone Before, you're probably not interested in my depression. And if you're interested in my depression, and you yourself are also depressed, the last thing you need right now is probably a blow-by-blow, play-by-play description of a first season episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. So it's really a lose-lose proposition, as far as I can tell. But no, this is the most depressed I've been in a long time right now. And I don't know. Yeah, I do know. I mean, I can point to outside reasons, external reasons for why it is. But I think that I think it's because I don't feel like I don't feel like I'm expressing how I feel. I think that's actually, now that I think about it, I don't feel like I can express how I feel in life because nobody wants to hear it. That's what it feels like. So maybe the problem is I've created a version of myself that is likable to people, or not even likable, tolerable. But whenever I start being honest with people, the problem is that, like, there was one particular situation where I gave an opinion, but nobody asked for the person I gave the opinion to did not ask for the opinion, and was understandably annoyed when I gave the opinion. And why? And I'm thinking, well, why did I feel the need to give the opinion? And you know what? And it was because that was how I felt, and I wanted to tell the truth about it. I didn't want to hold back on telling the truth about it. Now, truth, of course, is subjective. So, but it was how I felt, and I wanted to express it. So maybe that's the problem. I think for me, the root of depression is, or the root of my depression is usually there's something that I want to express that I'm not expressing. Like, I think part of the reason why I'm so down is because I'm not where I want to be at in my career. And as a stand-up, I want to have a bigger following. I want to be, selling tickets. And maybe the root of that is I want to say what I want to say, and I want and I want to be heard. And I don't feel like I'm saying what I want to say, and I don't feel like I'm being heard. Now, weirdly, when I was looking at the stats for this podcast, I published one like a month or so ago that suddenly got thousands of views in India. And I don't know why out of nowhere it suddenly got 1,000 views. I mean, I think I started putting it on a platform that I must service India. So what would be useful is if any of you are from India and you understand this, and you find this at all interesting, tweet at nerdyvirgin. That's my Twitter, or via TikTok, also Nerdy Virgin, and let me know your favorite episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, and I will talk about it in the next podcast. Because I'm just curious to see if it said there, 1,000 downloads, but I don't know if that translates into if that means anything. I don't know why there'd be 1,000 downloads in India. So I'm curious to see if that's real, and if it's so, and I don't know what compelled those 1,000 people. I just imagine some kid in high school in India who said, "Listen, I stumbled across this podcast. It's this middle-aged sad Jew who's just going on and on about his depression and Star Trek. You've got to listen to this." Well, that sounds like torture. Exactly. I am the high school student who likes torturing his friends. But hey, listeners are listeners. I'm being heard. Yeah, we'll see. Well, what is it I want to express? There's the question. I'm telling you, I'm frustrated that I'm not expressing what I want to express. What is it that I want to express? I'm really sick of people telling me all the things I should do to feel better about myself. And I'm not saying they're wrong. So maybe I'm saying there's a part of me that just wants to feel this right now and wants to be here right now because maybe I need to be here right now. Because maybe I need to listen to what I'm wanting to say. Well, I keep saying I want to say something. What do I want to say? What am I holding back on saying? What am I holding back on saying? What I'm holding back on saying is I'm really tired of conversation. Because I feel like all conversation lately is me just learning what the other person wants to hear and then telling them that. But it's not honest. I don't feel like I can be honest when I'm talking to most people. I don't feel like I can be me when talking to most people. And that's why I don't like to spend time around people. I can't be honest. And when I am honest, it pisses people off. Or it seems to. So there's two possibilities. Either I'm wrong when I'm saying what I'm saying, or I'm striking a nerve and they just don't want to hear it. Kind of when people are brutally honest with me and I'm upset because I don't want to hear it either. Nobody wants to deal with honesty. So I feel like 90% of conversations are gradations of lying. And I'm just tired of that. So theoretically, I should feel okay being honest here. I haven't even gotten to the Star Trek yet, but I'm trying to process this. I tried recording this while watching the episode so I could give like a play-by-play analysis, and that just felt wrong. That just felt wrong. I gotta talk about it from memory. That's what I gotta do. Before I do that, I mean, I've spent 8 minutes telling you that I don't feel like I'm expressing what I want to express, and now, as I'm trying to think of something to express, I can't think of anything to express. Well, we'll just talk. That's got to be one thing. You know what I really wish that people, including myself, would use the phrase, "I don't know" more. Maybe that's the problem. The biggest conflicts I've been having lately have been me saying, "I know." And maybe what I should be saying is, I don't know. Just everyone is so right. Everyone is so sure. Okay. So, where no one has gone before. Basically, this is a episode in the first season of Star Trek: The Next Generation. So Picard is still just angry and annoyed at everybody, and this episode opens with him being annoyed with Riker because they're about to bring on this engineer who's going to supposedly make the engines work better, and Riker has doubts, and Picard is like, "Come on, man, what? It's fine. It's going to be fine. Why are you bothering me? All I want to do, I'm Captain Picard. All I want to do is get away from all you morons and go out into space and explore. I just want to explore space in silence. I just want to explore space in silence. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up." But Captain, shut up. So this engineer beams on board. The engineer has an assistant. The assistant is an alien from a distant planet, from a distant system. Troy senses something from him, not quite sure what. And that basically is her dramatic function for the first 5 seasons of the series. She senses something, not sure what, but she does. And the engineer goes into engineering, and he's basically explaining all these equations. And meanwhile, the assistant is quietly over in the corner, quote unquote, assisting. And they start going to warp speed, and the assistant, I guess, gets a little carried away. I think he's trying to show something to Wesley because he senses there's Wesley. He senses that there's something about this boy. There's something about this boy. So I think maybe he's trying to show off a little bit or something. And he ends up causing the Enterprise to fly like 19 galaxies away. And I always remember this sequence because I thought the special effects of the ship going to like super warp looked really cool. And they're 19 galaxies away, and now Picard is saying, "Well, this is too much exploring. This is too far. I wanted to explore space, but this is too much space. This is too much. It's too much. I mean, I want to explore space, but occasionally I want to go back home so I can have a croissant because I'm French. But this is too far. We got to turn around. You gotta. What happened? You gotta fix what happened." And they gradually figure out it's the alien who caused it, and so they try to go back, and then they end up in a dimension where their thoughts, everyone's thoughts on the ship, the thoughts become reality. And as a result, everyone on the crew is starting to go insane because every stray thought they have just becomes true. And suddenly one crew member is a ballerina. And Picard is suddenly having a conversation with his dead mother. And at one point he gives the order to the crew. He says, "Listen, we got to do one more warp jump to get back. Right now we're in a world where what you think becomes reality. So you got to focus on, just don't think about anything." That was the order. Don't think about anything. And somehow all 1,000 people on the ship were able to suddenly have laser-tight focus. And the other interesting thing, all the thoughts were conveniently PG rated. They didn't show the X-rated thoughts that people were having. That would have been a whole different television show. And the alien, who's called the Traveler, helps them get back to where they belong. But he pulls the captain aside and he says, "There's something special about Wesley Crusher. You have to nurture this gift. There's something special. He's a genius. You have to nurture this gift." And what that translates into is we need to find something for him to do. Let's put him on the bridge all the time. We need to get him on the bridge. You need to. He's a series regular. We're not doing enough with him. You got to get him out of these bad sweaters. Get him onto the bridge. And moving forward, I think they started. He became acting ensign Wesley Crusher. And I don't know if that was always the plan, or what, but in those first few episodes, he wasn't anything. He was just the kid. He's just a kid. The son of the doctor, pretty much. And it just feels to me like it was the writing staff going, we got to actually give him something to do. We got to give him some duties here, because I don't think anyone cares otherwise. If we don't give him something to do, then he's kind of a passive character. This is also, in the first season, there's a lot of the phrase is Wesley saves the ship. The notion being that he's the genius that can see everything that none of the other people can see. And there's a lot of episodes where he does save the ship. Now, he left the series somewhere in season 3. And by that logic, the very next episode, the ship should have just blown up. He wasn't there to save the ship. He wasn't there to save the ship. We're shipping you off to Starfleet. No, you can't. You can't ship him off to Starfleet Academy. If you look at the last 15 captains' logs, 14 of those 15 logs, Wesley saved the ship. He's staying on the ship. He can do remote learning. He can go to the academy via Zoom. He's staying on the ship. So what's the point of this episode? What does this episode mean to me? What is the essence of this episode? The idea that our thoughts are connected with reality. I've always felt that there's something to that. Like even in my own life. I mean, I think how much of my own depression is something that I self-manifest. And that because I say I'm depressed, I'm depressed. And if I stop saying I'm depressed, maybe that will turn things around. I'm sorry. I can't keep a straight face on that. But I think and maybe that it brings it right back to my frustration, which is I have all these feelings and all these thoughts, and I feel like I can't express them, and that when I do, it only seems to get me in trouble. And I think that I'm just reality and my thoughts feel separate. And I think that's what's causing my stress. Probably a good thing that I'm not in the dimension where my thoughts would bring up reality, because it would just be me screaming. That would be the reality. My fantasies, I'm not doing anything great. I'm not a ballerina. I'm not making love to somebody. I'm just screaming and yelling at people. That's what I'm doing in my fantasies. Where are we at? 18 minutes? All right. That's enough for today.